Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review of Kaiju number 8, Season 2, Episode 14. And once again, fantastic episode. I mean, the return of from the last episode, this big return, was absolute fire, I will still say. But this one all just came, also just returned also in just in a very big way as well. So after that earthquake, a huge hole in the city just opened up, taking a whole bunch of buildings down with it. Just now, it's a huge hole in it. First, I gotta say, why would anybody be still living in pretty much the kaiju capital of this world? I'm sure it's happening all over in this world, though, but it's mostly in this part in Japan. Though I'm like, why would anyone want to still be living in there? I mean, unless they have great insurance, though, or maybe it's not though. Maybe it's government. Maybe it's government funded money. I don't know. It was like, why would anybody still be living there though? But anyway, out comes out of the hole was a whole bunch of kaiju ants. And when I saw the giant ants, I instantly knew instantly brought me back from earlier this year with season 2 of Solo Leveling when our boy was taken out of those giant ants and been of course with the leader as well. So I just really thought maybe brought me back to of Solo Leveling season 2. So, but now all the first division, everyone else is moving out and try to help to take out these ants. Harumi and Shinomiya get in the fight, and Shinomiya, she wants to be strong and faster like Hoshino and Mina. So using her weapon, and before they go into battle, Shinomiya goes in to see her goes to Harumi's room. He's like, "Hey, can you lend me some money?" I'm like, he one who spends so much money on Amazon boxes. He's asking her for money. Yeah, this guy, other than being a complete badass as a warrior in the self defense first, as a captain in the first division, right? Outside though, he's just a blithering idiot. But like I said, when he puts his game face on fighting kaiju, he's a total badass though, right? But just when he's not doing that, he's just an idiot. So, and then he does save these two kids, and he goes and says, "Hey, make sure you post my name like 10 times and say how cool I am." Yeah, her Urumi is just like, he's great as a character. But then we do see the return of Kaiju number 9, which I think he made a duplicate, which he made a duplicate of himself for another part of being part of another of a Kaiju ant over where Harumi is fighting him. And then when he sees Kafka, it's like, "Oh, it's you. I didn't recognize you. You're Kaiju number 8." And this is where we begin. This is where we begin with the problem with Kafka, because he wants to help, right? I mean, we see him early. He's like training, doing laps and stuff. Though, but thing is, though, he tries to partially transform, and he fails. So, but then we tries to fully transform. He fails too, and he gets shot by Kaiju number 9. He gets thrown around. Now the issue is, I think because now there's no doubt about it though, he is afraid to transform. Like, he wants to help, right? He wants to still wants to stand by Mina's side, right? But in the back of his mind is what's holding him back, because he's afraid, because he remembers when he fought against when he lost control and almost killed the director general, Shinomiya's father. He's afraid if he transforms, he thinks he'll lose control again, and then he'll have to be put down. That's pretty much what he's mostly afraid of. Like, he wants to help really bad though, but in the back of his mind, he still has that fear of losing control again. So that's why his transformation is failing, because he's afraid to at the same time. Because he is afraid he doesn't want to lose control again and end up hurting other people. So, and going berserk again. So yeah, So that's gonna be the hard thing for him to overcome this. Like, I mean, like, well, of course, it is a cliche where someone has that fear. We've seen it like whether in anime and movies, right, where they're afraid, where eventually they'll have to overcome that fear, right? Kafka will he'll overcome this. There's no doubt about it. He will overcome this fear and he will get transformed fully and help and start helping out again. That's always the case when we see that cliche a lot of times. All right, first they're afraid. They're afraid to do something because they want to get hurt, and then eventually they do overcome it, and then they end up helping out though. So we know that Kafka he'll overcome that fear. So, but but until then though, like I mean, if he's still afraid, that why don't we have him do like a do some training like like in like in the first season, the training ground where they're fighting those kaiju's for training, right? Why don't you throw him in there and see if he can still he is see if he can still do it, and just keep at him. We see if he if he gets over that fear though. But it's good to see, nice to see Kaiju number 9 that has come back quite early. I thought he'd be come back later in a bigger way though, but no, he came back right away though. And what is he made a duplicate of himself to fight him, and then he said he wants to take him there. He was after Kafka so he can take his kaiju powers, and then made a duplicate of himself so that to fight Harumi. But the answer, well, along which he did that, he did pull that power war, like the answer they killed, they ended up coming back thanks to him, like he did in the last first season. Bring back the dead corpses of the kaiju's coming back to life. So, but yeah, but this has been another fantastic episode. Like I said, I love the series. When I love the first, ever since I first saw it, I love the series. And also for season 2, we got to see the new intro, which is I really enjoyed. It was kind of like they try to put in the same style as the intro for the first season. And this intro was also really good, was great as well. And this time it's not Young Blood who did the opening song. Here it's Aurora, which I know I've heard of her, and I know of some of the songs she sang. Right, so I was like, okay, they got an Aurora. Which I know one song I did hear from was when it was in the trailer for Tim Burton's Dumbo from 2019. Baby, why don't you cry? I know she's done more songs though, but that was a song that I know of that was her, that was from that trailer. So, but I do know of her. I've heard of her, and heard some other songs that she done. It's like, okay, so they brought in Aurora this time to do the intro for Kaiju Ray. That's interesting. And I do like the outro for the song as well. So the song for the ending credits. So, but now I say, do I like which song do I prefer? After hearing this, which is a good song from Aurora, but I still prefer the song for the first season, Abyss from Young Blood. It just gave me that little bit of smiling factor every time I watch the first season of Kaiju number 8. Now just watching the song, hearing the song for the first season. Someone please save my life. Yeah. So I do think the first song of the opening was, I still prefer that one more than this though, but I think the song from Aurora was pretty good, I would say. So yeah, I do like the animation style. It was like in the same style of the first intro though, so it was good. And I don't know why people I don't know why, but people are using this term gaslighting. Oh, whatever that. That's a term that's been hearing for the past couple of years. Whoever came up with that term anyway, gaslighting. But I would say this: I will not be gaslight. I would say, because if people want to start doing the same thing, like, oh, is this quite underwhelming and all that stuff, I don't want to hear about it. Okay, I know people have their opinions though, but if anyone says that this so far season 2 of Kaiju number 8 is not as great as the first one, I'm sorry, you're sadly mistaken. Because this has already been so far an absolute fantastic season 2 already, just after the first 2 episodes. I just don't get people's perspective on things because recently the reason the shows I've been watching recently people have been not been liking. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I won't understand that though. Yeah, it's different from when I review movies and stuff though because I do have a lot of I do have a lot unfavorable opinions on films though. Well, that's why I've been liking anime more than films because like I said before, pretty much 95% of films suck nowadays, and especially this year in 2025. This year of 2025 has absolutely been the absolute one of the absolute worst, no doubt about it for me. There's only been a few films I liked this year, only maybe just like four, maybe or maybe five at most. That's not good. That shows how bad this year has been for in 2025. But in the terms of anime, it's been really great for me. So yeah, shows you how bad films in 2025 are when I say that animes in this year are better. So, but anyway, but episode 14 of Kaiju number 8 of season 2, it's been fantastic. Like I said, Kafka he will eventually get over that fear and he will start transforming again. But like I said, he's in that slump because of he's afraid to. And then I see the return of Kaiju number 9, shows he's still a threat. And Harumi's is being the idiot still, but at the same time, like I said, when it's game face on, it's game time, he can go all out. So, and I just saw giant ants from season 2 of Soul Leveling. Now I'm seeing more giant ants here now. And but what's people say about complaining about the production, how the animation style of the ants are. I do like the look of the ants. I think they're cool looking design of kaiju type ants. But people say, "Oh, the 3D animation." People just need to understand the difference between animation and the art direction and stuff like that. Though, it's just I don't get it though. But I do like the design. I think the animation is absolutely spot on still for me. So yeah, that's episode 14 of Kaiju number 8, season 2. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Later.